talk about a topic that has been going on in my brain lately, which is belonging. But talking about belonging is one of those vulnerable topics. So I want to talk about how it randomly came up for me and just kind of chat about it. This topic came up for me randomly. So I was having a discussion with my husband about, his side of his family and like the dynamic and getting along and hanging out and things like that. And he said to me, Tony, it seems like you want someone to bring you in. And the way he said it, I kind of got offended. I'm like, I don't need no one to bring me in. And so I kind of sat on that. That conversation kind of ended there. But then I was watching something on TV and I heard someone say, everybody wants to belong. And when I heard that, that's when it clicked to what my husband said about me wanting to be brought in. And I told him, I was like, hey, I just heard this and I just want to let you know it's not that I want people to bring me in, it's I just want to belong. And I know it may sound kind of weird, but I really feel like I have that need to want to belong because of things that have happened to me or like the way things were for me growing up and in adulthood, that it kind of all boils down to belonging to something. And pretty much it's like when you have family, sometimes you feel like especially like a family that comes together, you kind of feel kind of obligated to have a certain relationship with them. And if it's not working, and at least for me, being a military spouse and I'm away from family, and then being closest to my husband's family, you kind of want that connection with someone. And if it's not happening, you kind of get lonely. But I've said before in a previous video, I've been more intentional on building my own relationships and my own friends because for years it's been me and him against the world. But then you need somebody, you don't have somebody. So I have been making it a priority for me to really find my own community, find my own friends, to finally have that belonging feeling. And I must say, like, I'm finally starting to feel like I belong. And that's not to say that I never belonged anywhere, but I can't think of anything right off the top of my head. But I think from self awareness, self discovery, um, finding out things about myself, I'm learning the type of people that I want to be around. And I am at a point where I'm okay with just truly being myself. And that's the key thing to belonging, is to be yourself and be different and hone in on that and not feel ashamed of who you are. My belonging issues, if you want to call it, really stem from childhood, always feeling like I was different. And it was because I was very quiet most of my life. So, being a quiet kid, you hear people say to you all the time, speak up. Why you so quiet? And even you'll even have friends say that when you get around your friends, and why you so quiet? And you kind of get tired of that. And I remember as a kid, internally, I'm like, am I quiet? What does that mean? I'm just being me. Um, I figured out then, like, okay, to fit in, I think I'm going to have to pull a piece from this person and that person to get the noise to stop of me being a quiet person. And that's what I did. I started pulling different pieces of other people's personality, blending it to mine. But as I got older, I think I finally started realize what I was actually doing was not normal. Um, I kind of realized, I think it was like I had this moment of like, I remember this girl, she had like this little lean that she would do to her head when she walked. And I used to copy that because I thought, oh, okay, that must be cool. But then I'm like, Tony, why are you bending your head to the side? Like, what's up with that? And I kind of realized, like, oh, you got that from so and so. And then it just started coming together. And I also think age and maturity, you just start reflecting and you realize, like, oh, that's not normal. And sometimes it takes being exposed to certain things, having certain conversations with people that kind of help you realize certain things from childhood isn't normal. But I would say, as an adult, as I grew into an adult, I identified that and realized like I have to find myself. I've been on a journey of finding myself for a very long time. Um, and sometimes I confuse it with purpose. A lot of people say you find your purpose, you kind of find yourself, but I just feel like I don't know what my purpose is yet. But in the meantime, I'm going to keep doing like self discovery things, therapy, all of those things until I truly figure out who I am. So once that topic came up with my husband about, me wanting to be brought in, and I'm like, no, it's just me wanting the belonging. I brought it up to my therapist, and she said that it's an identity issue. So we're diving deep into that. So I'm excited to kind of figure out if I have my identity under control now, or am I still doing those little things. I think everybody, though, admires someone, but there's a difference between admiring and copying. So I'm excited to kind of learn that side of myself to see if I have it under control, if that was just an issue as a child growing up, and if I have my identity issues, it's not an issue anymore. When I was a kid, though, I was different, but I always fit in, and I think I fit in because I could dress. And it wasn't because of me, it's because of my mom, but because of her, me and my siblings were always fly. And I think when you are like not so good looking or quirky, whatever, if you can dress or you have a certain look naturally, I think you automatically get put in this cool box. So I think I was able to blend in because I could dress and I was always a pretty girl. Um, Another thing about belonging. So as I was growing up and being quiet, I was very observant. And I learned a lot being quiet and observant. And I know there's like this ADH piece that I always like to bring up now that I know that that's a part of my life, is that you can pick up on certain things of people. So I don't know if that was my quietness or like the two of them together just gave me like this superpower. But I've always been very observant, and I was able to see who was cool, who wasn't, what was accepted, what was not accepted. And it always created this, you know, should I be a part of this crowd? Should I be a part of that crowd? Um, Belonging also stemmed from, I believe, going to different schools. So I went to a couple different elementary schools, and then I remember I went to two different middle schools. But what really did it for me of when I where I really remember the wanting to belong started to kick in. So the copying was when I was young. But then realizing I want to belong, I think it started happening in high school. So I went to a high school that was on the other side of town, and everybody at that high school went to the same elementary and middle school and high school together. So they were all clicked up. So when I came into the school, I had to find my place. And because I'm quiet, it was hard to find my place. And so I remember then it was like, okay, I'm not really into picking up that and picking up that to fit in anymore. I kind of developed this individuality, but I was in the band, so that was like an automatic outlet for me to kind of make friends, and that's how I was able to develop friends in high school. And I guess that's how most people do it. Like it's extracurricular things that allow you to connect with people and make friends. So that was a piece of my belonging. But outside of high school, once high school was over, I only really stayed connected to one person. And I think that was due to us both having quirky personalities. Like we were really able to be ourselves. We were like really good friends for a very long time. So I think that belonging in high school, starting at high school, and then just going on with life after that. Because even when I went to college, I went to a college that nobody in my high school went to. Like I went to a small town and nobody else went. My best friend, she went close to the same town, but she was at a different school. So I would kind of like hop to her school to kind of get the party life and things like that. And I kind of connected with people through her. But that was another place of me having to find myself, but now find my place, but now as an adult. College was pretty easy. I think also because of the image, I think having a certain image is easy to fit in certain pockets and people kind of gravitate towards you because they're curious. So I think my natural look helped me a lot in adulthood for a while. But then I graduated college. I graduated community college, transferred to a 4-year school in another area where knew absolutely no one. So then I had to start over again. And so it was like I've always put myself in these positions of starting over and having to find where I belong. And finding where I belong always felt like such a dread. It didn't come natural to me. I am not this bubbly personality that I walk in any room and my personality takes over. It really takes intention, braveness for me to step to people, get to know people. So as I transferred to a different school, it was really difficult for me. But what I did, I just joined like clubs. I guess that's the place to just network and join communities and finding your people. And I was able to find some people. So that was like some space to feel like I belonged. But then when college was totally over, I go back home. And so now I've been gone for 4 or 5 years and everybody's different now, right? Even when it comes to like family and cousins, everyone has their own life. So now I'm having to find my own place and create new adult friendships back at home because it's not how I left it. So I remember feeling that, okay, I want my own people again. But then, shortly after that, I met my husband, and then he's military, and then we moved. So then I'm in another position of, um, when we got married, I didn't really care because it was just like me and you against the world, like I said before. But over time, it became hard, being from Florida to Maryland, so far away, no friends, and it's just me and him and the kids. I was like, okay, it's been me and you against the world. Like, this is getting old. I need an outlet. Because it's different hanging out with your girlfriends than it is hanging out with your man. And I remember he got sick. I talked about this before, but he got sick, and we had this date plan, and I was so excited to go on this date, and he got sick. This is during COVID, so yeah, shame on me. But I was so sad. I had a meltdown. I'm like, if I don't have you, if you're sick and I don't have you, I don't have a life. And he was like, all right, I'm sick of this. I'm gonna find you some friends. So he went on Facebook and found like this military spouse Facebook group, and on there, he was like, yeah, connect with these people. And so I did. It felt like a safe space because it was like community, military spouse community that was local. And so I just put myself out there. And I never really have a problem with putting myself out there, honestly. But I put myself out there and felt like dating. I felt like I would speak with one girl and I'm like, speak with another one. And there was a lot of girls on there who said they wanted to connect, and sometimes it felt like a mean girl thing. It was just like this whole different dynamic. Everyone say they want to make friends. Well, some people say they want to make adult friends, but then when the opportunity comes, they act funny. So it was a little mixture of that. But after like, hanging with different women and realizing what type of friendships I wanted, I finally met one person because the main thing I was looking for is to hang out with somebody that didn't want to do play dates all the time. Like I wanted to be able to hang out, let loose, drink, all of that stuff, cause have a good time and not have to worry about kids being around. There's a time and a place for the mom friends, so that you can do kid things, but I didn't want that to be the main focus. And I know a lot of the women that was the thing that they were looking for. But I found the perfect match, as you would say. And me and her ended up moving to me and her husband and her family, and me and my family, we end up both getting orders at the same time to move to a different area. So that was nice that we were able to stay friends and we still connect now. So, now I am realizing that I always want to belong. I always want to be a part of something. I want to be able to make my own friends because for so long I went from school to school, area to area, having to find myself and never had that long lasting friendship. I have one best friend that I've had since 6th grade, and me and her still are friends to this day. But it's totally different having friends locally versus having friends that is somewhere else. But yeah, I just always wanted to feel like I had someone that wants to hang with me for me, my quirks and all. Like I'm interested in different music that most people are not interested in. Like my best friend, she makes fun of me all the time that the type of music I like to listen to. She's like, "Oh, Tony likes to listen to Michael Bolton." But I like my humor is different. I even only like certain type of comedy. So just finding friends, I guess for different purposes. Like everyone doesn't have to have all the same interests, but just someone who's accepting of those certain interests. That's the main thing that I was looking for in belonging. So right now I do feel like I belong. I'm discovering, I'm learning new things, I'm unlearning some things, but ultimately it comes down to admitting that I do want to be a part. I do want to be included. And it doesn't make me kitty or anything like that. It's just that I spent so much time changing so much, changing locations and things like that, where a lot of times people stay in the same spot and they have these lifelong friendships that they don't ever really experience this much change. I have dealt with so much change, and it's been a lot of learning and discovery and experiences throughout those changes that I feel like I'm a well-rounded person. But reality is, I want to be a part and I want to create and find those long-lasting friendships. Even much so, like I have felt the need to create a networking group because I know that there's other women out there like me who wants to belong, but they're having a hard time finding that connection. Whether it's they're like me, where they've switched up locations or things like that all their life, or they're quiet and networking girl groups are so loud and they're looking for a more softer place to land to find people. I don't know. But I'm so passionate about belonging right now that that's where my mind has been like, hey, create a networking group that's more low key for more people like you that's quiet. So that's something I am thinking about right now. I guess that's the ambitious side of me. I don't know. But hopefully in 2026 I can get that up and going, and I'll definitely keep y'all updated if I do, because I know it's going to be a journey of ups and downs and no one showing and people showing, and then just the good and the bad that comes with starting up something new. Another thing I want to talk about is, I know I mentioned that I am learning myself. Like I was talking to my therapist and I was telling her like I'm at a point in my life where I need to go deeper into the things I tell you. So go deep with me because I'm really at a point where I'm learning myself. So I learn through audiobooks, but I'm trying something new since I have more time on my hands to actually read a hard copy book, and it is so hard with my attention span. I ain't even gonna lie. But I wanted to share 3 books I'm reading. This meditation for Black women book, I went on live about this before, but it's like one of those books where what are you feeling today when you wake up, right? And you go to the contents and you find something similar to that, and it'll give you some meditations to read, and it's really helpful to like get the day going. So this is helping me just be mindful and reflect on certain things. So I'm reading that, and I think this is going to be one of those books that I'll continue to use. It's not just like read it and done. So, I was recently diagnosed with ADHD. If you don't know, I have been. So this one is the Empowering ADHD Workbook for Women, Evidence-Based Techniques and Actions Tools to Improve the Executive Function, Relationship, Self-Esteem, and Emotional Regulation. And I'm really interested in the executive functioning piece because I feel like that's why I struggled at my last job, is because I didn't know that I had this issue. And because I didn't know, I didn't have the tools to really navigate it. So I'm looking forward to this book to help me as I am navigating being a full-time entrepreneur, to help me make sure I don't sabotage the blessing that I have. And this book I recently bought, I haven't been able to really get into it, but it's Self-Love Workbook for Black Women, Empowering Exercises to Build Self-Compassion and Nurture your True Self. So I'm very curious about this book. I can't speak much to it because I haven't really gotten into it yet, but I'm excited that I am giving myself a chance to become a hard copy reader and not stick to audiobooks. I don't know if there's a difference in how you digest it between the two, but I'm just curious if I can become a hard book reader. Trying to see what else I have in my notes. I think that's it. I went way deeper than I thought I was gonna go. But yeah, belonging is what I've been on this week, and I wanted to come on here and dive deeper into it, other than what I've been posting. I really appreciate you all clicking on my video if you stay this long. What is it? Where my only question for this live is where share with me in the comments where have you felt like you haven't belonged, or if you find my situation you've experienced that as well. I would love to hear from y'all. But thank you so much. I'm Tony. I am transitioning from leaving my full-time job to becoming a full-time entrepreneur, and I would just want to share all the good and the bad in between with y'all. And I hope you enjoy this. And I will talk to y'all later. Bye.